Ultimate Breaks and Beats was really the encyclopedia, my first DJ encyclopedia of breaks. Now, I've been collecting breaks since I was a kid, like real early. You know, I kind of grew up on breakbeat culture. Like, world famous Supreme Team, they used to be on WHBI in New York City, real late. They used to come on like on a Wednesday night at 2 a.m. or something like that. And you had to be in the know to pick it up. But these guys, even before Buffalo Gals, before Malcolm McLaren, they were on radio from like 79 till about 83. And I was checking them out, and they were playing break beats live on the air. So the first time I ever heard like In Peace the President was when they played it. The first time I ever heard The Big Beat by Billy Squire was when they played it. This was pre-UBB. So between that and whatever I heard at block parties in Brooklyn, being cut up by DJs in the streets, I've always been immersed. So I was raiding like my relatives' record collections, trying to find doubles of 45s and records with breaks on them to match with my copies and pair them up. So when UBBs came out, it just furthered my knowledge of breakbeat culture, like breakbeat history. They were definitely, when I started making beats, they definitely became like a go-to for chopping samples and chopping up drum breaks in the drum machine. But the flip side of that is a lot of us who started making beats using drum breaks and whatever, like we didn't really, a lot of us were thinking the opposite. Like break beats at one point were like the thing you didn't really want people to know about. You know, we used to cover the labels up, we used to mark them. And the flip side of this conversation is Ultimate Breaks and Beats exposed a lot of records that were being cut up back in the days in the Bronx or whatever. They were, Lenny and Breakbeat Lou were compiling these compilations, and even some records that I thought I was the only one that knew about ended up on some of these compilations, like later issues. Like for example, The Easiest Way to Fall by Frida Payne. There were certain records that I was like, damn, I thought I had found something, but they ended up on UBBs. But they're great. I mean, honestly, like I think any DJ starting out, especially if you're a vinyl collector, and if you make beats, that's definitely a starter kit. A lot of them had like edited versions of the breaks, extended, and for cutting up too. Like they started off as octopus breaks, you know, the labels with the octopus on the labels, and then later became street beats. So those octopus breaks are even more rare and more sought after than a lot of the street beat volumes. But either way you have it, like those are, you know, considered like foundation records to have in your collection. I'll tell you a studio moment that's not really a studio moment, that's not so good on my behalf. But one time, me and Krim, we were on our way to the studio, and back then, one of the spots we worked out of didn't have turntables, so I used to bring, I cringe every time I think about this, I used to bring turntables to the studio and a mixer, you know what I'm saying? At least one to do cuts on the tracks. Wasn't driving back then, so we were taking a cab, and we called the car service, and I had my turntable in the case. All I remember was like I put it down to put in the trunk, and I got distracted somehow, and we ended up getting in the car and driving off, and I left the turntable in the street. Straight lost the Technics 1200 that way. What I believe happened is next door to me was a crackhead living next door to me in the house that I used to live in, and I think he stole it, but just never stepped up to like to let me know. So that was a real da-dun-da-dun moment that I had, you know, not really in the studio, but related to the studio. Yeah, and I cringe every time I did. Krim always every once in a while he'll snap on me, you know, for just like being so lackadaisical with that whole thing. It was crazy. I was like, I thought you had it. Nah, you took it out the house. I could be the put in the. Nah, I thought you were helping me out. Like I thought maybe I ran back in the crib and he was supposed to put it in the car. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it was gone.